other and get acquainted, for my subscribe members who've been with me for a while, to kind of integrate our new members and kind of get a vibe going this Friday. I want to go around, and I am going to call you guys out. So if you cannot talk, kind of have your answers ready to send in the chat. And I'm going to ask you all 3 questions. These 3 questions, I want you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from, and then outside of that, I want you to tell us, what do you like to do to relieve your stress? Because trading can be stressful. So if you don't have something that relieves stress, that is something that we should tap into. So what do you like to do to relieve stress? What are your favorite tickers to trade? And what are you hoping to gain from the Trader's Crib? So for my new people, it's what are you hoping to gain from the crib? For my experienced traders, it's going to be, what have you already gained from being here? What do you appreciate most from the crib? Or you can even answer it in like, what else you would like to see from the crib. So I'm gonna start with my loyal, lovely ladies, and they know I'm about to call them out. So we will start with Miss Maria. Maria, can you jump on camera for us, sweet pea? And she's been with me from the very beginning, and and I love her much. So
I love you.
Thanks, Maria. So introduce yourself, even though I kind of already gave you an intro. Tell us where you are. What do you do to relieve stress when you know you want to punch the screen, right? What tickers do you like? And what have you gained most from being a member of the Trader's Crib?
Okay, yes. So I'm all over the place this morning.
No worries.
Yeah, so hi everybody. I'm Maria Guitar. I live in Ohio. I'm not from Ohio, but I'm here if anybody else lives here. I love to trade the SPY and SPX, and I'm studying ES to start trading futures. The thing I love about the Trader's Crib is the community that we have. It's very encouraging, and we learn a lot from each other, and we're always like growing together. And if you have a good day in trading, it's fun to have people to celebrate with. And if you have a rough day in trading, it's wonderful to have some virtual hugs and encouragement to just keep on going, because trading is a lonely journey if you don't have friends who trade. So yeah, did I answer all the questions?
Yeah. What do you do to relieve stress?
Oh, what do I do to relieve stress? Well, I'm a pretty random person, but I love to cook and I love to eat, so that's always good for stress. I would love to say that I do more exercise and going for walks than I actually do, because when I do it, it's very stress relieving, but I don't do it as much as I should.
Thanks, Maria.
Yeah, no
All right,
problem.
I'm gonna tackle the next person. Tondra, are you available to speak, my lovely lady? She's like the mom of the crib, Tondra. So, Tondra, what is your
I am
favorite?
actually driving, so I can't come on camera, but
No worries.
what is my what?
Yeah, go ahead and answer the questions. What are your favorite tickers? What do you do to relieve stress? And what have you gained most from being in the crib?
My favorite tickers, of course, SPY, SPX, and of course Adobe. I like trading those. You guys are pushing me to look at futures more as I grow in this, in this trading game. All right, my favorite ticker. What was the other question? Look at my
What do
brain.
you like to do to relieve stress?
Oh, I have to work out, child. Listen, I am, as Randy says, I'm a mama bear, and I'm one of those type of people is once I get to know you and I love you, I will fight somebody about you. And I will. I will. And I don't know if maybe I was just bred that way, and I think that's basically what it is. I mean, as ratchety as my family is, don't mess with my mama or my sister and brother because I will fight you. Or if somebody's messing with you, I'll fight somebody about you. So that's just, I don't know. That's who I am. I ride or die. And so because of that, I'd have to do something physical. So that's where the exercising comes in. So I was an avid jogger until I broke my ankle in the freaking pandemic, Lord. So I still jog, but not as much. But so exercise is what keeps me keep some of that. I guess that's testosterone or whatever that is that makes me want to jump on somebody.
You're just a loyal Leo. That's all.
I am, and that lion fight, that fiery lion comes out, and when somebody's but on top of that, if somebody's messing with you and they wrong, I will swipe the hell out of them. So that's my problem. So I need to work on, the fact that I'll smack somebody bothers me. So I'm working on it. So that's the part. But anyway, that's who I am. So I'm working on that part.
And what have you gained most from being in the crib?
Well, because being one of the older ones, watching the younger ones do things, you guys are encouraging me, like, be braver, girl. Because I'm very safe. Because I got to take care of people, so while I will fight, I got a lot of people depending on me. So I tend to stay safe. So you guys are helping me to see that I can take a little bit more risk. I can try some more things or whatever. So you're kind of helping me walk on a ledge just a little bit more than I normally would.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I'm the impulsive, risky Randy was my first nickname. I am the one to jump out of airplanes, y'all. Like that's me. So yeah. So for those of you who can't talk, I'm kind of looking in the chat. No worries. So Brian is saying he can't hear. Can everybody else having volume issues? I don't want to address the chat. Yesenia, I love the fact that you have kind of tried to handle that for me. I appreciate all the love and support in here. Y'all are fabulous. Fabulous. Because I'm not sure why Brian cannot hear if all the rest of you can hear. I never had volume issues before. As many days of I do this like every day we're in here, and I haven't had that issue. So I don't know if he needs to go out, come back in. So let's see. Log out and come back in. All right. Okay, who else is my loyal, lovely Alyssa? You know I was coming for you. So Alyssa.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you? Oh, Tandra, you didn't say where you were, but Tandra's here with me in Florida. I'll say it for her because she's driving. She's like all over.
Oh yeah,
she's still committed.
Yeah, I live in St. Pete in the Tampa Bay area, but I'm getting ready to move back home, near my family because my husband and our parents are aging horribly. So as a matter of fact, the reason I'm on the road is my dad, just doctor's appointment, and my husband's father is also having all types of medical issues. So constantly back and forth. So, but anyway, so in Tampa Bay, but heading back to North Florida soon.
Cool. All right, Alyssa, you're up. Where are you, sis? What do you like to do to relieve stress? What are your favorite tickers? And what have you gained most from being a member of the crib?
I like to exercise to relieve stress. I am in San Antonio, Texas. What have I gained from the crib is a community of family. My favorite tickers are SPX and SPY, and I like the futures. And of course, I like Apple too. So a slow mover.
Slow mover, but we invest too much of our money in the actual Apple products.
Yeah. And what question I didn't answer?
What have you gained most? Or what you say? No, you say family. I think you answered all of them. You like to exercise for relieving stress, and you went over your favorite ticker. Straight to the point.
Just the family and the support of why you're live day trading. Like you don't get that. I haven't seen where you can get that at while you're actually live day trading. So yeah.
Prevent you from breaking the screens, right? Or
Yeah.
drinking
And then
yourself to death.
or you made the wrong choice and you just got family there to support you through your good and bad times. So yeah, that's what I like.
So before I'm a shout out to, I want to pronounce your name right. I'm terrible with pronouncing names. Is it Cena or China Chang? How do you pronounce it, from Philly? I just want to, like, she put her info in the chat. She's hoping to get over the fear of trading, and she's from Philly. I hope I pronounced your name right. You can definitely type out the pronunciation because I do not want to murder somebody's name. I know some people are working, so I have no problem with that. I'm kind of go through the chat as you guys are submitting your answers. What
Is
else would you
Tiffany
like to
on?
do? Is who?
Tiffany.
Tiffany's not on yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't see her yet. But I do see Kim. Kim, where you at, love? Can you talk this morning?
Oh, I can speak. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm probably the oldest trader in the trader crib. I am a long-term trader, and I'm trying to learn to be a swing trader. I'm definitely not a day trader, but my tickers are SPY and Apple. Mainly because I have a lot of Apple stocks. I'm gonna learn how to do some covered calls. And my most favorite thing about Traders Script one is they're making me be more risky. I'm not a risk taker. That's why I'm a long-term trader. But I'm learning to be more of a risk taker. I'm trying to be more swing versus day. And then I like the community. Oh, I live in Georgia right now.
She's like, we never know where we're gonna find. She does live in Georgia, but she don't stay that long. She be hopping around. I love the fact that she travels a lot. Love it, love it, love it. We all want to be like Kim. She's always taking cruises. She's always in somebody else's state, living her best life. Another mom of the crib, old school, but it's about bridging the generational gaps here, right? So I love it. All right, who else is one of my lovely, loyal ladies? Come on, Trinika. We barely hear Trinika talk, but she's faithfully in here with us every day. Come on, Trinika. You can do this. Can you speak today, Trinika? She's in here with us. She's been like, I love her to death. She takes a trade. She's learning. She's growing. But we'll see if we can get her to talk today. She's like, no multitasking. All right, Janika, no worries. Tammy, can you speak up this morning, Tammy, and say where you're from and what you like about the crib and your favorite takers? Keep it short and sweet as we run through the crib to this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let's see. I am from South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And what I enjoy the most about the crib is community. It's been a great experience for me trying to learn and grow. I enjoy a lot of the education that's offered, and the ladies are just so supportive and helpful. My favorite ticker is, I would like to focus on SPY and not try to be all over the place. But in my quest to learn and grow, I want to be like pretty much open-minded to other tickers. I have learned, like, the futures that you're doing now is great. Really enjoying that. So please continue to offer the trainings. SPX, I've traded a little doing the gap trades. Haven't been successful with it lately, so I kind of backed off from it because it was moving better. I would say like last year. Now it seems to do I guess a slower move sometimes. I guess I'm not good at day trading, but I like day trading. I'm not one to hold. I want to get in and get out. So pretty much that's me. Oh, and the stress reliever thing. I don't have a thing. I'm working on myself. I'm approaching 50. So I'm trying to work on my health, wellness, and I'm like currently starting April trying to develop an exercise plan. So far it's doing pretty good. Thank you, Yesenia. Pretty much that's me.
Love it. Welcome to the Facebook. For those who are typing your answers, I'll go on and shout out. Thank you, Tammy. A few of you guys before I circle back to a few ladies who I know who can speak. So Deanna says she's from Saginaw, Michigan. Whoop whoop, Michigan in the house. Tiffany ain't in here. We have a fellow Tiffany's our other Detroit, Michigan lady. So I hope she shows up, but if not, I understand why. She likes to relieve stress by spending time at the beach and getting massages. I feel you on the beach. That's why I moved to Florida. I hope to just soak up knowledge about charting, about being confident in my trade choices. I don't have a favorite ticker yet. That's okay. I've been all over the place with my trades for the last several years. Now I'm serious. Hey, I mean, this is definitely where you define your trading plan because I'm the one that will guide the risk to kind of help you define where you need to tweak your trading plan so you can kind of hone in. And we'll go over some tickers today. Seems like the futures did its move this morning and kind of tapped out. It is Good Friday. So who else as I come down? Is it Neri? I don't, oh my God, names are like terrible. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Please correct me. She's working at her day job from Florida. Where are you in Florida, girl? We have been in Florida chilling, that Florida living. Who doesn't love Florida? So newbie to trading. He have been on and off, but appreciate you all here. Thank you so much. And shout out to Tandra for bringing her into the mix. I love it. Trinika.
Oh, is it Neri? Oh, she's in
Neri.
Tallahassee.
Okay, she's in Tallahassee. Okay.
She's beautiful from the Philippines. She's originally from the Philippines. So yes.
I love it. Girl, I need some lupia. You fix lupia? Give me some of that because I need another Filipino friend that could cook me some lupia. I had a friend in high school. I was at her house like every day just for the lupia, I promise you. I mean, she was a great friend too, but God, her mom could throw down. I love Filipino food. I love most things that come out of the Asian side of the world, that area. All right, Trinika from New Orleans, my second hometown. The whole family's from NOLA. Got it tatted on my back. She loves the SPX, the SPY, the futures, and XOXL. She likes verticals. We could talk about some verticals for those of you who are interested. She wants to become more disciplined in trading, and she exercises in the gym for stress, and she overall likes the community. She loves the community. She's just speaking modestly because she's here every day with us. So gotta love it. All right, I am heading to Yesenia because I know she could talk. Come on, Yesenia, where are you from? What's your favorite tickers?
Okay, I'm originally from New Jersey. I moved to the South. I don't really day trade. You know, I do more swing trades. So my swing trade is VOO, which is an ETF. I like ETFs. They move slow, but yet you can correct your mistakes pretty quickly. I love gardening. I travel a lot. I was a hairstylist on Broadway and in the movies, and I also have an archaeologist degree where I did work in some of the temples, and that's basically it. I have a long resume, but I'm keeping it real short.
I appreciate that. And what would you hope to gain in the crib, or what else would you like to see in the crib?
Well, I've only been in for a few weeks, and I think I believe, in my opinion, my understanding of trading has jumped leaps and bounds because again, I'm a swing trader I've been a swing trader for a long time. So this has been really helpful. And I'm more towards verticals right now. So I'm looking to go the vertical route and learn more from there. Because again, I think I can really understand losses better there. And then once I get better at that, if I choose to move on. But I like futures too. But so between verticals first, I definitely want to get that down and learning how to chart. Charting is the biggest thing for me, that when it's right, it's right. You even if it breaks through your zone or whatever they want to call it, you're still right in the sense that if you did good charting, it doesn't matter. Your risk is less, but your reward is more.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you, Yesenia. All right. Let's see. Sophia has said she is in Maryland. I need to know what city you're at, if you're representing the DMV area, because that's where my parents are and I frequent there often. I love the DMV. It has a whole vibe. She's new here, but semi-new to trading. Have not been very successful, but hope to become more disciplined. Discipline is the key here. And my stress reliever is crafting. Oh, I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Oh, I got you. I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it Adelphi? Is that how you pronounce that area of the DMV? I think I got you. So love it, Sophia. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Whoever else cannot speak, go ahead. I'm about to call some people out who haven't put it in the chat. So Christina, can you jump on and speak? If you could share your face, that'd be lovely. Like, we love to see the beautiful faces here. Usually Tandra and Maria are showing their faces, but Tandra's driving and Maria's, who knows what Maria's doing, but we love to see Maria's face because she just brings a whole another level of energy to the crib. So Christina, if you can share, that would be great. I'm assuming if you didn't put it in the chat, you can speak. Oh, she has the little one. My little one's just sleeping.
Sorry.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
She'll be in here eventually.
Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm somewhat new to trading, and this is my first time here, so I'm happy to be here to get some experience, see some people live trade. I can't remember what all the questions are. I'm in North Carolina, originally from Pennsylvania.
What do you do to relieve stress? And what are your favorite tickers?
I like to go on the Peloton sometimes when I get a break from my little one, although it's been a little hard. I'm pregnant right now, so trying to keep up with some type of regimen, but it's hard. And I like SPY. I used to do Tesla, but it moves, and sometimes it moves a little quick in the wrong direction that I think. So take a little pause on that. Adobe sometimes, but that's pretty much where I trade in.
Adobe and Tesla fans, I love it. We definitely have some other Teslas. We'll look over the chart today on Tesla. And what are you hoping to gain from being here?
I think I had a lot of success when I first started, especially sim trading. So I built up my confidence, and then I missed the trade, and then I revenge traded, and that totally blew my confidence after that loss. So trying to find a better trading plan and sticking to it. And I guess just getting back in the swing of things. I've been kind of scared to get back in the trend. So.
Yeah, this market, thank you so much. I understand the market has taken a very interesting turn for us. And so it's kind of hard to stick to old trading plans when, if you come to the weekly right here, if you guys look at my screen, we've been sideways for months. So it makes it, for a lot of us are being forced into day trading a little bit more and scalping a little bit more because the market's just sideways, and you have to implement some different strategies. So we're here for it, to test it out, to refine your trading plan. So welcome and thank you, and congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.
Exciting. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. Next up. Let's see. Brian, are you able to hear us now? Are you able to speak and kind of, I know the crib is mostly women, but we love to acknowledge our fellas that are in here, able to take, crazy ladies up in here. We're a little different. Hopefully he can speak. Brian, can you hear us? No. Let's see if Brian can hear us. I don't think he can. We'll work on Brian. I'll work on Brian in the chat if he can share. I'll probably put the questions in the chat. Who else did I not get to? So Marcy, am I pronouncing that right? And everybody can have a different twang to their name sometimes. But if you can come on and speak and kind of tell us who you are and what your favorite tickers are so far and what do you do to relieve stress, that would be lovely. Y'all can't be shy up in here. And we get lit up in here. Y'all should see the Day Trading Study group. We are.
Randy, is Brian still having problems hearing?
I don't know. I texted him in the chat. I haven't gotten a response yet.
I was about to say he probably needs to go into his Zoom settings and make sure he has chosen the right speaker. So our sound, audio, I think that's the word. I think it's audio. You got to go into the Zoom settings sometimes and choose the right audio where you want your audio to come through. So you may want to check that.
Can't speak if she's being shy in the background. Is totally fine. Who else didn't respond in the chat? Sophia Briars of the chat. Is it Fabian? I'm terrible with names, y'all.
Hi, it's okay. It's okay. It's Fabienne.
Fabienne, okay, perfect. Thank you.
No worries. So I'm from Canada, Montreal. I'm French speaking, but I speak English for about 20 years, so I'm pretty comfortable in English. And yes, I joined yesterday.
No worries.
Yeah, I joined the community yesterday, and I come from trade and travel. I don't know if you guys know the community there, but what I do to relieve stress, I like to go to the spa, and massage is just my main stress reliever after a stressful week or a couple of weeks. I try to go have a massage or go to the spa. But on a day-to-day, I work out like most of the ladies, and but here in Canada, the spring is coming along, so taking walks. I have a nice park next to my apartment, so I will take walks in the summer, in the spring, but in the winter, it's a no-go. I don't have a favorite tickets yet because I just got back into trading. I started learning a year ago, and then my life had turns of events, so I couldn't really focus on it. So I've been back at it for about 2 months. So I focus on SPY, mostly QQQ and DIA, the indexes, and I watch Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia, but I don't trade them that much. I just observe how they move because I know they're kind of risky, so they can move really quickly in the wrong direction. And finally, what I hope to get from this community, I was very intrigued by like the live sessions. I think to help me outline my trading plan because I feel like I'm all over the place right now. I'm trying to try different strategies, look at different tickers, and really help me with the live session, like seeing someone think through a trade is really something I'm looking forward to.
Cool.
That's it.
Thank you so much, baby. I love the French. My brother speaks French. We love it.
Oh,
and shout out to Canada. It's great.
yeah.
He just loves French culture, everything to do with French. And so So yeah, it's really amazing. I love to see that we have a few, international coming through here. So thank you so much. I appreciate you
Yeah,
being
thank you a lot.
no problem.
Thanks for the community. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, so Brian says in a very public space, so no worries, Brian. Yesenia saying she loves France as well. I mean, there's just a certain culture that comes with. I know like French and Montreal is like a little different, but the fact that they speak the same language, there's some similarities there. All right, so who else? Who else before? Did I get everyone? I think I did this morning. Marcy, if you can talk, except for Katrina. Katrina just popped in. Katrina, are you in a space where you can talk this morning, my love? She's been with us
Yes.
for a while as well. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you like to do to relieve stress, your favorite tickers, and what have you gained most from being here? Because you're one of the original OGs.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Katrina Faulkner. And yes, I'm one of the originals. I originally I joined from the beginning, and then I opted in for the free, and then I decided to join completely after that. And I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, not in Atlanta, but it's a little bit further out, but that's the closest metro city. But I live in Atlanta. I work from home, so that's a good thing. So my setup is I have my work stuff in front of me, and I have my personal laptop on the side with like you guys and stuff like that. So that's good. What I like to do to relieve stress. I like to travel. I have a trip scheduled for November for Spain and Portugal. So I'm going to check that out. Never been. Solo trip by myself. So I typically do solos domestically. This is my first one. I might meet a couple of friends. I'm not sure, but for the most part, it's solo. So I'm really, really excited about that. This community, I just like how you guys just help with anything. Any questions? I'm not an expert by any means. I still feel like I'm still finding my way, but it's just nice to come on, and it's a nice, comfortable space. If I don't feel like talking, it's okay. If I do and I have questions, you guys help me out. So that's okay. It's just for me, it seems like it's just good for everybody. My tickers, I had a lot, and I just recently I feel like I was all over the place. So I decided to pare it down a little bit. One ticker that I'm looking at the most is Enphase Energy, ENPH. It moves a lot. Right now it's just sort of like up. It's just like not going way up or way down, but when it does move, it moves. So I'm just really looking at that and watching how it goes, because I would like to, I love my job, but I just really want to put myself on a path, as we all are, obviously, to just do what I want to do whenever I want to do it and not have to worry about anything else. Is that it? I think
That is more than enough, Katrina. I appreciate it.
I was like, and it's funny, I just came on and I just got dressed. So I was like, let me turn it on while I get dressed and everything. And you're like, hey, Katrina.
I know you just thought, because we got some newbies in the house. We're growing a bit. And so I kind of want to take this Good Friday and get a little more acquainted and personal, because we are very personal in here, as you know. We've been here from the beginning, so we're really close in the day trading study group. And so I just kind of want to share that a little bit of that with the newcomers. So I appreciate you being able to jump right on the spot with it. I love it. So thank you.
No problem at all.
Thank you so much. And Deborah has been in and out with us as well. If Deborah's able to speak this morning, I know she works at a full-time 9 to 5, but if she can share, it'd be great. You can always put your answers in the chat, Deborah. She's been a supporter of the crib as well. Go ahead, Deborah.
Hello, I'm Deborah Speller. I'm from the East Coast, North Carolina. My favorite ticker is SPY, and I'm trying to learn futures. My stress reliever, I like getting massages and watching movies. And what I like most about this community is it's like even though Brian is here, I know to me it feels like a sisterhood, like a community of family. So whenever I feel like I'm trading alone, I can always log in with you guys and feel like I'm part of a community. So I really enjoy it.
Thank you, Deborah. Cool. So I am going to put one more person on the spot. She is my mother. I wouldn't be here without her. She's here. She's a full supporter. You gotta love parents who support their children. Hopefully she's not on a call and she can hear me. Mom, can you speak up and say where you are and how you just loving the growth of the crib?
I'm not going to go on camera, okay? However, I'm happy to speak. And as she said, yes, I'm 200% supporter. Put it 1,000% if you like. But one of the main reasons why I do enjoy joining when I can, because I am still working full time, is because I do like the community and I am learning a lot. I am in the Virginia area, the Washington, D.C. area. What else? You said something about what we do for stress. I love to work out, so I can go to the gym, work out on the elliptical machine, and I can walk for miles if my legs hold up, and they have been. So that's what I love to do to relieve my stress. Did I leave out anything else?
I mean, what have you gained most for the crib? I mean, I trade for her, trying to, retire. This is a live example of trying to retire your parents right here. Okay, this is what's going on.
Absolutely.
So she's like, Randy, what are we getting into? What I need to buy and hold? So she's like a long-term holder.
Yeah.
Of a few tickers. I would say her tickers are we got Disney, Chevron, Nvidia. What else is in your portfolio? And we're diversifying portfolio. We're doing covered calls. We're doing long term. Go ahead.
You said Amazon?
I did not say Amazon. We have Amazon.
Yes. And one is oh, I can't even think of the name right now. I went on a blank. But anyway, carry on.
Thanks, Mom. Gotta love parental support, just saying. So I love that my mom is here and she can do that. I think I really covered everybody who wants to speak. I'm not gonna force anybody who doesn't want to come out of their shell this morning.
Can I also say one of the things that I like is that you guys talk about other things. Like you guys talk about life, and in addition to, what's going on with the tickers, you guys talk about things that are going on with your life, and it just seems more real to me. So that's another thing I want to add.
Thanks, Virginia. That's true. Because most of us in here, we're moms, we're wives, we're like managing a lot as women. And that is like, Brian, we welcome the men, but I probably need to put a schedule together so the men can know when to not be in here, when it's just like need to be all women, where we just need to get out and be like, oh, my husband is driving me nuts, right? Like sometimes as women, we just need that. So we get really live in here. I'm a single mother myself. My daughter, she peeped in here for a second. She just woke up. She's behind me. I have my my background on so y'all can't see her. Jay, you gonna come back over here? She likes to be in camera, even though she needs to like wake up and wash her face and take her. Gotta come close. There she is, a little J bug. She wasn't feeling too hot last night, so she's up now getting herself together. I do have breakfast for you downstairs if you want to eat though, Biscuit.
Okay.
So, this is why we do this. We get to spend more time with our babies. We get to manage our house. We get to tend to our gardens because a lot of us are growers in here. A lot of us are on the healthy train of eating better. We bring it all. We bring the talk about just what we were talking about yesterday. We was like, let's get out of our trades because we believe that since it's Easter, the Lord will rise and the stock market will go with it if we're in the wrong position. So we crack jokes like that. And so Yesenia, I did not see the garden you posted. Please share your garden because Yesenia goes estrogen days. It be like that. It just be like that. That's all I would say. So welcome everyone. The futures kind of stopped. We took a while I wanted to do this intro. So the futures moved like this morning, did its move when the news came out. And so we kind of missed the move there. It was a really quick run up. But I was on the phone late. Me and Alyssa were on the phone really late last night. And I was literally looking at the futures move and I was like, it looks like it wants to come up. So, and that's exactly what it did. So we'll do our chart party and kind of go over everything because we will not host a chart party on this Sunday. So the free events that you guys want to join in on, we do a chart party on Sundays to kind of prepare us for the week, Sunday, late afternoon, evening. We go through the tickers that we love most, and we welcome any new tickers that you want to look at just to get like my general market analysis. We pull in some news, what's going on, what maybe happened on the weekend that we may think will affect the market for the week. So it's our homework day. We get in there, we do our homework, we look at everything, and we kind of set up our plan. And then on Wednesday mornings now, I just started Wednesday mornings futures because a lot of us, I wasn't trading the futures myself for a while, but I was always using the futures to gauge the rest of my trades. So with the futures market, I decided to say, okay, let's finally tackle this thing and let's finally trade it because I just got tired of missing the morning moves. I will literally call every move the day before and then pre-market will do my move. And then by the time market open, my move is gone and I'm pissed. And so, yeah. So I'm like, you know what, ladies, we need a morning pre-market because there's a lot of good moves that happen between 8:30 and 9:30. And I wanted to be able to capitalize on them and I want to be able to share that with you. So Wednesday mornings, we're in here at 8 for a little market analysis to get ready for the 8:30. Most of the moves usually happen around 8:30. They can happen sooner, it just depends, but most of the time 8:30. So at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10 was early morning session. And then Fridays are our free Fridays. Every Friday you come in here and trade the stock market with us from 9:30 to 11:30. I start at 9 actually with a mini course, just trying to get people more familiar with other indicators and things to use to help with their charting. So I'm really big on candlestick patterns. I love candlestick patterns. They tell a lot. So I do a course on candlestick patterns and I call it mini because it's only 30 minutes or less because I'm trying to get it in before the bell rings, just to kind of give you some information. We use Fibonacci. I use Fibonacci to help me draw support and resistance when the market's kind of choppy and I can't really see the zones as clearly to the naked eye. And we go over order blocks. We have a few ICT followers in here as well. And that's totally fine. ICT is great. So we bring in a little bit of his theory, a little bit of his theory, a little bit of just what the market's doing in general, and how predictable it can be once you understand how the order blocks work and how to identify them on the chart. So I go into that. And then as we discuss our trades and process our trades, you'll hear Maria speak about NWOGs and things like that. She's big, she's more in depth in the ICT than I am. I'm really I've been my own researcher for years. I came from the NIH, so I just have a public health background. I love research. So I've had come into the market and kind of apply a few different trader strategies to my own theories and my own feelings and my own intuition, and come up with my own little way of looking at the market, because ICT is a 1 minute person. I am too impulsive for a 1 minute chart. I can't do it, y'all. So I don't go down further than the 3 minute. The 3 minute is like the furthest down I will go. It still works well for me and what I try to do. I understand how the 1 minute is helpful, but I mean, there's more than one way to do this. There's some traders that only trade the 2 hour. There's some traders that, only use the 30 minute. Like, it really, really got to find your flow. And that's what this is about. Like, you can learn a strategy from somebody, you can learn it from me, but you won't replicate that strategy to the T, because you're your own individual person with your own beliefs around money, with your own goals on how you like to manage your capital and things like that. Everybody's coming here with a different amount in their account. And so that affects your trading psychology. So here in the crib is really trying to filter out the noise and figure out what your trading strategy, what your trading personality is. As you've heard, some people are naturally swing traders, they have more patience. Some people are naturally day traders because they lack patience. I am on the lack patience side of things. And so that balance is really what you need, because I think ultimately most of us want to get to where we can trade, we can do swing and day. Like, when the day trade comes and it's running, and it's a good run, it's like jump in if we can see it, and plan for it. We see that it broke our zone and take advantage of that, while at the same time letting some of our other tickers work for us on the long term and grow our accounts that way. So finding that good balance is definitely key. And that's definitely what I am trying to encourage here in the Trading Crib, is more of just discovering your own personality with it. I have a few podcasts that I posted on the site. I plan to post more because, like Yesenia said earlier in the chat, like, you're just kind of a forever learner. You're always going to need to research, what I'm trying to say, discover yourself. As soon as you're always growing, life is always throwing new things at us, new challenges, new babies, all of that we have to manage and figure out. And so I like to listen to podcasts of different traders to kind of help that out, bring that information back here in the crib. So it helps us stay, motivated and on the positive side of things, because this market can really let you down sometimes. You can really just take the wrong move, get in your head, because it's difficult to compartmentalize like your personal emotions from the trading. And I love how Christina shared, like, she came and she's like, I revenge trade. That's real. Like, who doesn't revenge trade? Like, I'm gonna get my money back. Yeah, Maria is like all the time.
I'm all in on revenge trading. Terrible habit, terrible.
Maria like, Tesla, I'm gonna get my money back from you. Boeing, I'm gonna get my money back from you. Like, you owe me money, damn it, and I'm coming for it. Right. So it's just a real thing. So that's what we're here to do, and support each other through that. I know I had one lady last year that was like, I appreciate you guys, because without you guys, I probably would have drank half the bottle after my loss. We don't want it, to create new addictions as traders. So it's real, we do have, Tiffany, she's probably enjoying the holidays, and I don't blame her, but she is like a licensed therapist. She's not available to take any new traders. Trust me, I'm like begging her every day, like, when is your schedule going to be open to take the Traders Crib? Because we all need therapy. Or could use a little bit of therapy, but when she's in here, she has a very calming voice. She has a very she keeps us motivated. She keeps us calm. And she keeps us real, because she's like not afraid to say, like, I'm a therapist and sometimes I need therapy. So it's just beautiful cycle here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's get into a little bit of charting to do this chart party, and we'll go down the list. So yesterday, well, actually, before I do that, Maria, because Maria's kind of like, I'm about to give her the market analysis hat if she wants it, because she's actually really good at it. She just may not know that she is. Do you have anything you want to share? Because I know you've been over there researching the market in general. You can't help it. Anything that you want to add to overall market analysis from the week, summary of the week, before we get into the charts and what they did in response to that?
Well, I can definitely say markets seem to be acting pretty wonky lately. For anybody who is an ICT follower, and I mean, I think any great trader that you might be following or like look up to, I think a lot of them have been in agreement that these markets have been some of the hardest markets to trade because they're acting very kind of different from how they have been. And I know it's been very frustrating. I think the market is going through a divorce. Yes, Jastinia. Stingy Janika, yes. So I guess just in general, of course, give yourself grace. Like if you feel like you're keep on losing or being stopped out or whatever. I mean, I've definitely been taking some big losses, but I've also had big wins. So it feels really good when you're on side. Feels really terrible when you're offside, but things will get better eventually. I'm not sure though if the markets are gonna straighten up and act right until I've heard some thoughts about maybe some people saying after the election next year the markets might get better. I don't know. I hope they get better sooner than that. As far as what's currently happening, definitely this past week was just not a good week because a lot of traders take off this week leading up to the holiday. So hoping next week will be better. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'll chime in if I
yeah, she'll add when she, and that's she's actually, like I said, she has a lot of knowledge. She just knows exactly when to add it in, based on what's going on, and you can get a lot of her, like what's been going on if you subscribe to us and join the daily study group. She'll come in here with just tons of information. Her and Tandra both are actually pretty good.
Yeah. Can I piggyback?
Yeah, I was about to say Tandra's good. Go ahead.
So the one thing, Maria is the obsessed ICT stalker, more so than me. I watch as well, and she's proud of that. She's proud of being the stalker of ICT, and I'm proud of her for being proud of it. I'm watching out the corner of my eye some of the things that he's doing, but I guess the thing that when we are looking at the market and analyzing it, he's often trading off of fair value gaps, which is what Luke was doing. Like you said, he's trading off of fair value gaps, and he's going these 5 handles, just these quick moves, get in, get out, keep it going, type of a thing. So when you're thinking about looking, particularly when you're trading SPX, he's doing it on ES. We're doing it on SPX oftentimes. You have to just take a look at it and do the quick move and get out of hopium. I gave the market about $700 of SPX money because it never went back. It got so close to my target and went away from it and never came back to it, or came back close to it again and just never crossed it. So you got to take advantage of the short moves that it has, and it tends to give you those five handles, which is, I guess we have to determine that it's a $5 move that will get you pretty decent money, to grow your account. So look at it that. So get in, get out, do it quickly, and be satisfied with that. So, but that's all I kind of want to add to that when we look at trading SPX and even ES at this point. Maybe MES we could probably hold a little bit longer because that's a lot cheaper. But I guess that's some stuff that we can take a look at when we're analyzing, for a bigger or longer move with MES. So anyway, but that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Tandra. I'm actually, since you mentioned Luke, I'm like, Luke, can you pop in on the call? Let's see if I can get him to come in here. Brian, I was trying to get him before Brian said, I think he jumped off. Have another guy pop in quickly. He's another ICT person. And I actually, when you mentioned fair value gaps, I thought of him as well and his stop loss strategy, because some of us are kind of negligent to use stop losses. So let me see if I get it. Okay. But let's go down. Let's get to it. Let's get into it, because I know that's what you guys are waiting for. I appreciate you all patience. So the future this morning did exactly what, yesterday it closed with. So I pay attention to, like, my biggest thing is the candlestick patterns. And my first thing I'll do is kind of look to see what type of signals the candlestick patterns are giving me at first. Candlestick patterns can fail, but they're a good a first indicator of like what the market is about to do next. So the first thing I noticed when I zoom out and look at the daily on the futures is that we have what we like to call in the crib as a cattywop W. We make up words in here, y'all. It's a cattywop W. It's a double bottom, but not quite a double bottom, right? It's cattywops. So as price came up, double bottoms are usually very strong in the market, and we actually, Luke just joining, but it usually holds. And I noticed that across the charts we have a lot of W's. So as we go through these tickers this morning, you'll see that W's formed on the daily, which means they're pretty strong support. That price is going to continue up. And normally the pattern is, when you see a W, is that the W is formed, price will come up to the previous either order block or sell zone or key area of resistance and kind of just chop up while it decides if the W is going to, well, I don't want to say, like, the W is going to stand and continue going up, or if it's going to fail and come down. So that's basically what we're seeing right now, which is why I knew we would have some retracement on this candle here, but it wouldn't be a lot because of the W formation that formed. So then from there, I went in and looked at the candlestick patterns. I realized that these two kind of didn't follow the rules. It's better on the SPX. Let's go to the daily SPX. And let me clear. So the SPX kind of closed a little bit more like a true engulfing, a bearish engulfing pattern. That's what this is. And so that gave me a sign that, okay, maybe the next day will come down. So you have to definitely, take note to your next candle after that. So when the pattern forms, as an aggressive trader, you may get in right away. But as a more conservative trader, you want to wait for this third candle to form to confirm, are we really coming down? So it did come down. It was a bearish engulfing. We did come down. It is a bearish candle that formed. But it didn't last very long, as yesterday closed as the inverse. It did a bullish engulfing, right? So these two candles now are a bullish engulfing pattern. And on the futures, you have what we call a piercing line pattern, which is, again, another bullish signal. All right. Now, it's probably not going to hold too much, just because I believe that we could chop maybe a few more days due to the W pattern and the consistency in that. And I will just show you it's consistent by pulling back the chart here. W, right? It chops when it gets up to the previous area of resistance, and then it figures out what it wants to do from there. So, and you can find them all over the chart. Here's another W, chop. It's consistent that it chops after it forms, all right? And then comes out. So the breakaway candle that you're looking for, we're looking for a breakaway because of this pattern. So once we get a breakaway candle in either direction, that's going to give us our confirmation on where to go. So that's just kind of want to say, before I go into other tickers, I'm going to give the mic to Luke, because I don't know how busy Luke is, and I know sometimes he can't stay as long. So Luke has been a supporter of the crib before it was even the crib, right? Like, because Luke is here with me in Tampa, Florida. Whoop, whoop. So Luke, I would love for you to just say who you are. We did like a little introduction, how you kind of trade, and because you did some awesome work yesterday, implementing a little bit of ICT, a little bit of, everything that we know combined to execute some trades. He likes the futures. But I'm gonna let him go into what are your favorite tickers, Luke? What do you do to relieve stress? And just who you are.
Well, hi everybody. How's it going? Uh I didn't know I was gonna be here. Let's do this. All right, so listen. I I I am a trader. I trade only ICT stuff. I I right now I used to do like a lot of the equities at SPY, the ES and the micros. And I started out doing all the Terry stuff, and of course that stopped working. And I was like, nah, bro. So now I do this. So what happened yesterday? There's a couple of things that ICT teaches, and I know that like some people don't like him because he's super long-winded, and I super get that. But he's also super intentional about being long-winded, so it's not like he doesn't know that he's doing what he's doing. So if you got the time and you can just literally just put that on and just let the audio play while you're doing something else, and then when you hear a gem, you're like, oh, let me pause that and go back to that and like write it down. It makes it a little bit easier for you to study that stuff, to be honest. That's not anything that's not like on this channel as like an educational video. So what did I do? You're right. Yesterday there are every day there's supposed to be a play that's supposed to be available to everybody on the ES, or yeah, on the ES. It's basically called the silver bullet trade, and it happens between 9:50 and 11 o'clock. So basically between 10 and 11 o'clock. You can find 5 handles, and the goal is to use those 5 handles to be conservative and find a way to yeah, Deborah. All right, so you got to find your 5 handles so that way you can be able to execute and make some money. 5 handles on the micros is $5, which is literally nothing. But on the minis, that is closer to I think what, 250 or something like that. So 250 bucks a day, you can make that in literally minutes and then call it a day, you know, and that's like what, 5 times 250, it's a 125. I mean 1025. Is it, man? I'm not a math teacher, I don't even know that. But basically it's like what, 5 quarters.
1500. It's 1500. 1500.
A math teacher
1500,
can't
right.
do math. Mm-mm.
I am, yeah.
No,
Talk more
1250. That's
junk.
1250. 1250. Yeah.
I just had to lock my door to keep my kids out of here so I can do this real quick for you. So I am distracted. I was grabbing them a snack. All right, so the whole idea is that
Thank you.
you good. The goal is to get your 5 handles, be conservative, get in, get out, and go about the rest of your day. Because the goal is not to trade all day long. Like you're trying, most of us are trying to leave our jobs or trying to make the money, make our jobs work for us. You know what I'm saying? So like we can have that financial independence at some point. So having the discipline to be able to get in, look for those five handles, get out, and just be okay with the 5 is the beginning of being able to understand how to use the market. And then once you're able to do the 5 handles consistently or go up and down and ride that the chop, then eventually you can just ride the chop and go for way more handles. But in any case, all you got to do is look on the chart between 9:30 and 9:50. Look for like an obvious swing high and obvious swing low, and just mark it on your chart. Once you mark that, then you can just wait and be patient and wait for the chart to show you that it's going to break that high and break that low. Once it breaks the high and breaks the low, then you're going to look for a fair value gap, and you're going to execute on that fair value gap. Had I done that yesterday, and I didn't think that it was going to happen like that because I am very much a lame-o. I could have done it. So if you were looking at yesterday's chart at 9:30, there was a swing high. It's super obvious. And at or not my bad. Actually, it was there was one even closer to that. It's 9:38. There was a swing high, and there's also relatively equal highs at 9:50. So at that point, it breaks through at 10 o'clock, and there's also a swing low that happened it broke the swing the low from 943. So at 943 there was a swing low, there was a low, it was broken. There's relatively equal highs at that happened at 950 and also at 959, and that was broken. As soon as that happens, you look for a fair value gap. The fair value gap happened literally at 10 o'clock on the dot. That fair value gap opened up, and it the price respected it. And if I had gotten in conservatively, let's say conservatively, it would have been at 4103.50, and I just have to ride it above the swing high because it's going to go above it. And so had I done that, it would have went from 4104 all the way to 4950, which is legit just the 5 handles. And if I had discipline, I would have been able to get in and out at that point, call it a day, we'll go about my business. I missed that swing high, or I missed that play, but I did see that I saw it hit, I think, a value imbalance, which I don't know if Randy's gone over that with you, but a volume imbalance is where price does not trade in between it at all. And there was a volume imbalance on between 4111 25 and what's this one, 4111 75. So I saw it price hit that, and I was like, all right, well, it hit above that as well. And then I saw price swing below into that fair value gap, into another fair value gap. So I was like, all right, well, that's my strategy. Or I guess it's an ICT strategy, but that's the strategy that I usually play, where I'm going to look to short. So it breaks a swing high, it breaks a low, it's going to retrace, and then we're coming back down to ride down the elevator. So, or paint down. So I got in at what price is this? I got in at 4109.50, and then it tried to retrace again. It retraced into that fair value gap and then dropped out, and it went for 8 points, 8 handles, my bad. And I should have got out at that point, but obviously I don't have good discipline, so I let it. I tried to, hopefully it was going to go down. It didn't go down any further. Retraced back up into the fair value gap again and dropped again, and it gave me about 4 and 75 cents, or four handles and 75 cents. So basically I could have gotten my 5 handles had I held a little bit longer, but it was still the 5 handles that I was looking. It's just about the 5 handles I was looking for. So, if I were playing the minis, I would have made like $250 or something like that, and that would have been it. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's another play that that happened a little bit after that, and this was like right before noon, where you're not supposed to trade between noon and 1, right? There were 3 higher highs that happened, and Randy's recording this, so that means that she's getting all the sauce too. So y'all better y'all should take some notes too. At what time is that? At 11:43, at 11:13, my bad. There was a swing high. At 11:21, there's another swing high, and then at 11:29, there was a swing high. When there are 3 swing highs, price is about to let you know that we're going up, and we're not playing games about this. So after 3 swing highs, and then look for a fair value gap. That fair value gap is going to be, I think, an optimal entry that is available to you, and that happened at. So the last swing high was at 11:29. The fair value gap formed at 11:36. So we're talking like, less than 10 minutes. And then right after that, the next minute, there was it revisited right to the top of that fair value gap, and it ripped. And that went on for 11 handles. So you talk about a trade that, that would have taken out, that if you were on a como se dice, on a micro. I mean, on a micro, that's like what, 50 something bucks. It's not a big deal. But if you're looking at a at a mini, 11 handles is crazy money. It's like 2 G's, I think. So like you can definitely make something happen with that and walk away from the charts for like a week or a month. You know what I'm saying? That's like That's how much I make as a teacher, yo. Like in one trade, you know what I'm saying? And that happens in like an hour. So you gotta be you just gotta know what you're looking for, study the charts, and look at me using that Chris Calvin nonsense. Study the right patterns for your charts. Study what you're supposed to use. Don't be vague about it. Go and watch ICT videos, get bored for a little bit, and profit, make some money, and then you're good. You know what I'm saying? Then share with the people, let everybody else know, because the homie's giving it away for free, so you can have it for free. So that went from that ripped from 41.1350 all the way, and it went way beyond this actually. But the times would have been on the fib would have been 41.24. So literally 11 handles that you could have got. And if you saw the price action again afterward, if you were a gambler and you saw that price was respecting the 50 on that fair value gap, you could have gotten it again and wrote it up again all the way to literally today, or till that through the afternoon at least.
Yeah.
And it just ripped all the rest of the day. So, and it went literally, it didn't, and if you were paying attention, it stopped right at the at a fair value, a SIBI. And that was at 2:16 p.m. It stopped right at a SIBI. It entered it and then started to retrace. So you could have went from, if you're watching the charts and paying attention, that's 41.13 all the way up to 41.34. So that's great. That's like 21 handles that could have happened just like that. So gotta be conservative and get your 5 and get in and out. And then when you have the time to go in and actually watch what the price is doing, go ahead and make your money. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I like futures versus doing options versus playing with the equities is that you have the time on your side, and if you put in your stops, you can be happy with whatever happens, and you're not really like looking at the Greeks and going, man, I'm gonna lose a ton of value on my contracts. None of that. It's literally just, if it goes up 25 cents, that's, you know, 12.50 on a mini. So you're making money, you know, as it goes up, as it goes down, and you can time the volatility based off of what's going on the candles. I mean, not the candles, the red folder days. So at that time, execute based on the time. So the time says that, you know, price is going to consolidate from 12 to 1. Guess what it did from 12 to 1? It consolidated. It stayed right in that same range. Then it ripped right after 1 o'clock, like 1:30. It ripped all the way up until 2:30. So use your times and use your time zones, and just make sure that you feel comfortable with this stuff. Use the sim as much as possible. Don't like go into this thinking I got to make this money so I can feel better about it, or I can feel like I'm doing something. You don't have to feel anything. And to be honest, I took a massive break, which you guys like. And I know that some of you guys in here were here when I started hanging out with Randy, and after those 2 back-to-back
losses on
losses,
market.
yeah, those 2 back-to-back max losses, SPX verticals, and it was my fault, 1,000% my fault, because I legit was trying to get that extra little something, and it burned me right at 401. I was like, oh my god, and it was over, and I had to cry my tears inside my heart, and you know that's really what happened, and I was like, never again. I'm not gonna risk it, because I didn't know what price action was doing. I didn't know how, like, why is the chart doing what the chart's doing? You know what I'm saying? And once you start asking those questions, that's when you have to learn. That's when you know you have to grow. You can't just wait around and hope that this is gonna just show up just because you're following XYZ's strategy and XYZ is doing that. You gotta like literally put in the time. When I had those 2 max losses, I think that was just about a year ago. And I've been studying. I haven't placed live trades for almost a year. And that's when I was like, when I felt comfortable with it, and I'm literally calling the market, and I'm like, all right, so like I'm in my car in the car line going, all right, we're gonna go up, we're gonna go down, we're gonna hit this, and we're gonna go. And as soon as and I was placing sim trades at that point, and just, you know, sim with the stop loss, take profit. and turn off my phone and walk away, come back and profit. I'm like, all right, why am I not doing this live? I'm actually getting it. That's when I started to go live. So, and I'm not even going live like I'm playing on minis. I'm playing on micros and just being happy that I saw 25 bucks. And I'm like, oh, 25 bucks, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I get to the point where I can play, I can consistently make that $25 and just back in and back out, be disciplined about it. Then I'm gonna probably go and do one of the challenges and try to make some money using one of the prop firms. And if I do that, then I'm not gonna be at this job much longer. You know what I'm saying? So like, you just got to be disciplined and got to put in the work. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and just participate. That's really what I learned and what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you got to be happy for a person like Randy that's like, let me just do this with all y'all. And you got to really value the
Like
work
to
that you do.
practice live, because that's like that's the hardest thing, is just practicing live, like when it's happening.
Yeah.
I just want to
appreciate you,
add that.
Luke.
Yeah, I just want to add that Luke did a very beautiful job just now, succinctly explaining
Correct.
ICT, using the terminology, explaining what it means, telling us what this stuff looks like, and what
And
we
I
should
was
do.
fine. I mean, if you guys were looking at my screen, I did have it up, and I'll go over it a slightly different way that I interpret ICT, but still aligns with the method. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Old school saying. He did a great job. He did disappear, like he literally disappeared. I was like, where the hell did Luke go? But now he's back. So thanks, Luke. I mean, taking those breaks are needed. Sometimes, I understand if you take a loss, like a big loss, it's hard to like get back up again, but it can be done. And with the Trader Crib here by your side, you can do that. So just to quickly like recap on what he was saying, the way I see it, and using a few other tools, if you don't, again, ICT or listening to ICT isn't for everybody. And but swing highs and swing lows. So I read a book on Fibonacci, and Fibonacci is a great tool on using the swing high and swing lows to kind of chart these zones. And right now I do have the fair value indicator on, but because those fair value gaps were taken yesterday, they disappeared off the chart for the indicator. I think Kim had posed a question to like define exactly what a fair value gap is, and we can go over exactly how to chart it. So I guess this day is turning into a little bit of everything. So no worries. So based on what Luke was saying in the morning, like you identify a swing high and a swing low. So if you were to identify a swing high and a swing low in the morning, saying that the market opens at 9:30, I'm on the 3-minute, right? This will be the swing high, and the swing low will be like right around market open. And you can pull the Fibonacci going down to follow the trend here on a smaller time frame. I usually chart Fibonacci on a larger time frame and then go into a smaller time frame from there. But because Luke did a great job at explaining this, I kind of wanted to put a different view on it. So
Hey, before you go on, why did you choose that one? I would have went all the way down to the lowest one.
because in real time, you wouldn't have had this. If you was coming in this morning, you would only had this data to 9:30.
Okay.
So I agree with you. It should be here, right? Like 2020 hindsight. But if you were real time, you would only have this candle. So you can only pull from what you have, right? This part of yesterday didn't form yet because we're just going over yesterday's move. And so you would have came in because things are dropped down, but it was consolidating, right? And you would have had a fib. So one way to play the Fibonacci is basically anything in the 0 to 1 is really not going to last very long. It usually has a bounce. So so as you see, price came up and straight through here. So this was one move that you could have taken as well earlier in the morning. I drew this big block because Luke mentioned, from like 9:50 to 11 o'clock, 12. I can remove it for visibility purposes, but I kind of wanted to like that this was the time of the ultimate moves. So you could have played this move, which would have been from once you saw that it was leaving this fib, you could have played it to the next fib as one move. You would have had your 5 handles just within fib to fib as well. All right.
Okay, but before you go on, how would you know that? Because the market was doing a lot of stuff yesterday, going up, going down, going up, going down. Where's the signal that tells you that that's going to keep going up? Because at some point,
right here,
it did go down.
candlestick patterns.
Oh,
So
the
this is what I'm
candlestick
saying, I'm
down.
giving a difference. So Luke did very good at ICT. This is a little bit of, this is Randy. Randy from taking a little bit Terry, a little bit of ICT, a little bit of Fibonacci, a little bit of, I'm a different person now. So, but here you're looking for a breakaway. Like I said earlier, this is your breakaway. So for one, you had a tweezer bottom that faked you out. So, cause even though this tweezer bottom form, these candles matched each other. So you knew from there that was canceled out. So here though is your pen. And this is a small order block as well. So order blocks usually form with a pen. The price will be coming down, you'll get a pen, price will consolidate, then you'll get another pen and then a breakaway candle. And that's like the end of the order block. Price also travels from order block to order block. So let's not going into fair value gaps, but just taking a look, this is an order block right here. So price was going to come to this order block, even if you didn't have Fibonacci on, which also aligns with an area of resistance, right? If you were to chart it that way, you see how you have price coming in and then coming out. So you can do it that way too. It all aligns. Multiple confluences saying the same thing. Price is coming up to this zone. Get in, get out, fib to fib, 5 handles, whatever. I think I was trying to point out the times that Luke said, but I think he did mention a fair value gap had formed within this time as well.
Hey, Randy? Hey, I got like 5 minutes before I gotta go to an appointment. Can I, if you want, I could share my screen with you guys, and I can show you exactly what I did, and then you can go back to it if you want, or if y'all want. I'm not gonna step on nobody's toes, but I'm just asking.
And look, we're just
have
for those who are in for it, we'll do it. So let me.
Can you please, so I can see that too, and then I'm gonna go back to what Randy's doing.
That's fine, totally fine. So Luke, you should be able to share your screen. Let me unshare mine. And the floor is yours. I appreciate you, Luke. Appreciate you.
No problem. Okay. I have to allow permission to Mighty. Hold up. All right. Okay. Hey, that's my right there. What? It's right there. That's my that's legit my entire thing that I do.
I love that.
You literally made your trading plan, your screensaver on your phone. Like, take that as a note. This is why we have the crib.
This is powerful.
You talk about trying to find a way to stay disciplined. Do that.
I am not trying to work this job forever, y'all. Okay, so here are the things that I was. All right, so that's the hour chart. Hold up, let me see if I can go to the 15-minute. And notice I have the dollar on the bottom because ICT says that as the dollar index goes down, that means that your equities are going to go up, and all of your forex, all that stuff is going to go up, and the opposite. So they're inverses. So I keep that there just to make sure I can see what I'm looking for. So let's see. Go back. Let's go back. We got 3 minutes. Why is this not showing the entries? All right, so here we go. I charted out what I needed to see. So like we're in at 9 o'clock in the morning. I saw that swing high, which is, let me see if I get this pen out and see if you guys can see what I write. So y'all can see that the icon right there?
Yes.
All right, so that was my swing high. This was my swing low. And this is on the 5-minute chart, but on the 1-minute chart, you can see exactly what this is, but it's gonna take me forever to scroll that. So my swing high, my swing low. And notice that swing low is on a fair value gap right there as well. And I'll explain the fair value gap in a second too. So I saw the swing high, I saw the swing low, and I was just watching. And this was at 9:40. At 9:50, it breaks the swing low. So I was like, all right, well, that's what's up. Then I had relatively equal highs. So you see those two right there? Ooh, this way. Relatively relatively equal highs are right there. That means that this is a significant price range right there, right at 4102.25. So if price breaks that, that's my new swing high. So not just this swing high that I had planned over here. So with that happening, when that broke it, I was like, okay, so I could have actually gotten in right here at the 10 o'clock. There was a fair value gap in here. So I gotta go down lower. It's not gonna show up. So let's see. Smaller. Come on. All right, so back to stuff over here. All right, yeah. So I had it marked. So at 10 o'clock, there is a fair value gap that shows up right in here. And there's another trick that ICT mentions as well that you're probably not going to see anywhere else, is that when you have overlapping candles like this, there is a fair value gap in between here. This is actually this is actually defines one of the fair value gaps. And if it goes a little bit later, you can, or if you go into the 1 minute channel candle at 10 o'clock, you'll see that there's a fair value gap here. I could have entered right here. It respects the low of the fair value gap and doesn't hit it. It just hits it and takes off with violence. Basically, this is like super a violent move. Then it goes up, and if you had gotten in here at the low at 4101.50, that's 4101 all the way up to 4112. So that's 11 handles in what, 9 minutes? 11 in 9 minutes. I didn't even play that play. I played this retracement. There was a fair value gap that happened in here between 10:15 and 10:21. Let me look on this one real quick on my other computer. I got in at 10:31 exactly. So at 10:31 I got in, which is right here. So the fair value gap that forms in here, I got in on this candle, and it retraced into this volume imbalance, which is, if you scroll back further, you'll see that there's literally nothing in this zone, and you have to hold the vocabulary that I'm using. You have to hold these gaps and allow them to go through, so that way they go through candles. So it's not that this is not going to just not it's not, you can ignore it after a certain amount of time. This is like actually important. So it hits up in here, it respects it. You see it hits like almost the middle, and then it just shoots it right back down. And I got my 5 handles. This is the 8 handle move from where I entered on the green all the way down to here, 8 handles. I didn't have discipline. I let it ride up again. I wanted to get out. I thought it was going to go lower again. It didn't go lower. It noticed that that's a massive doji, so it kind of like screwed me over. I was like, all right, it's going to do it again, and it didn't. And so I was just like, all right, and I just let it ride until I got to here, and I got like 4.75 handles at that point. So just knowing the vocabulary will get you to where you need to be as far as like understanding what you're looking at. And I know it's super difficult to kind of get that stuff, but you gotta put in the time. The fair value gap is, there's one right here. This is super easy that you can see, and let's get that out of the way so you can see. So my new fair value gap that you can see right here is, oh snap, that's like, no, it's right here. All right, so we have the high of this candle and then the low of that candle. In between there, there's only one side that's being served. That side that's being served is, whoa, that side that's being serviced is all buyers. Buyers are all in this one. So there's no sellers in here, so there's no overlap. So because there's no overlap, this needs to be filled with some sellers, so that way it can retrace. And so it's going to eventually the price is going to retrace back to this point, and then it's going to take off again in the original direction, which is to go up in the green. So a fair value gap is just saying that the fair value hasn't been given yet. It's going to come back and it'll retrace and it'll give it to it eventually. So for that person that was asking about that. And this was the play that I was talking about with the 3 higher highs. We had this swing high, this is lower, higher, lower. So that's a swing high, lower, higher, lower, swing high, lower, higher, and on my, oh, my bad, right here. Lower, higher, lower. This is a swing high right here. Then I'm looking for the fair value gap. The fair value gap shows up right here on the 1 minute chart. This retraces right back to that same spot and then takes off for another 11 handles. And it goes all the way up to, if you threw your fib on it, it would have given you 3x right there. You could have gotten out and been happy about it. If you're greedy, you could have ridden it into all of this, and it stops at this sell side liquidity right here. I mean, buy side liquidity is where sellers kick in, and it would have been right here. You could have gotten out. Okay. So I gotta go because kids are off the chain and I gotta go get them. And my wife is like, I got a meeting at 11 o'clock, so I gotta bounce.
Thanks.
But I appreciate y'all. Thank you for giving me 2 seconds. And if you guys want me to come back, I will come back whenever. Okay.
Thank you, Luke.
Luke.
Really appreciate you.
Let's see if I can take this.
No problem. You got it.
All right.
All right, Randy.
All right, Luke. I appreciate you. Okay, you guys can now see my screen, correct? That was great. Like, shout
Yeah,
out to you for that.
Yes. Thank you so much for having him come in.
Yeah, like I just had to ping him right quick because like as you can see, he has 3 that are all under the age of 10, y'all. So he's busy. And so it's like sometimes he's just not paying attention to everything else going on sometimes with the crib. So that's why I just texted him directly, like, can you pop in? And he gave us way more than I was expecting him to give. So basically he really covered that. But if you wanted to use it Fibonacci wise, as for sake of like drawing lines, now I have additional lines drawn, like my lines come in projected. And I took these projection lines from a book that I read on Fibonacci. So one side is Fibonacci projection lines and the other side is actually ICT projection lines. I'm like to tell y'all, I'm a different person. So I like to combine my research and come up with new stuff. And it as either way, it respects what we're doing here. So he took this move, he showed the 3 highs that were coming up here. This is where I was thinking that price may come down and I entered a put and then it took off. And so I was like, God damn it. So I closed out. That's one thing, just get out. I was watching it, so I manually closed. I think put a stop loss, Luke, and got stopped out up here when price started to take off. But as you can see, price really respects order blocks. So it comes for it. Then usually once it gets to the 50% Fibonacci, if you drew a long swing high to swing low, it'll kind of consolidate there. You could have played this move. I was able to play this Fibonacci move, but it was very, very choppy. And I don't love it when it's a choppy move. I love it when it's kind of like this and like this, which is great. So when we came back up to the 50, we broke through it, which is also another area of resistance over here that it was testing, and then finally broke through. And then we have this long wick here. So this long wick on this side would have indicated to me that there's liquidity within this wick that needs to be retraced and taken care of. And that's exactly what price did as it came up to its 78% Fibonacci. And then it stalled before taking off. I wasn't sure how much it was going to climb, but either one of these moves, this 50% to this fib, that would have been a move. You can literally play fib to fib, get your money and get out. You do not, like Luke is saying, you do not have to be in this market all day. You just need to chart your targets very well, like where price is going, and understand fair value gaps, understand liquidity that's held within wicks that need to be retraced. And you can just play that move. Like you could have waited all day. You could have been not sure about all this and could have just waited, because that's what I did here. And I was like, I definitely need to get out. I see that it's really coming up to this. And price like pierced through with this wick, which gave me an indication that it wanted this liquidity wick in here. And then after that, the next candle took off. So you learn what to look for the more that you do this, and you kind of figure out, how to make your plays. But this would have been, a great, bullish day on yesterday to make some money as price kind of ran up here. And then As it continued, it consolidated a little bit here. It made a J hook. So I love candlestick patterns. So this is a hook pattern. So as you see, price consolidate, came down, then you had similar highs, and then it broke it. So a hook pattern confirms is a bullish pattern that usually price will continue. So not only did it do a hook, it did a bullish pennant flag. All right, I got all the candlestick juice. All right, so here's the pennant flag, boom, right there. As it came up, which so you have the hook, bullish, flag, bullish, and price kept going up. And it went right to my other projection line at the 1.38% or 138% line. And that's why you have the projections outside of 0 and 1 to kind of give you an idea where price is going next on Fibonacci. So if I were to kind of come in, maybe the 15-minute may not look so bad. You can kind of see where, because I'm trying to get the previous area of resistance, it aligns right with this area of resistance here, right where price came up to, where's my line? Let me just move this line up. And I'm charting this area zone in this particular chop area of consolidation. I like to say chomp a lot, but that's exactly where price came up to, right? So we had all of this, again, liquidity wicks, it needed to be dealt with. It took it out. And it came up and then it just chopped here until news came out this morning. And this is the larger flag that I saw happening overnight. So let me clear the chart and come out bigger. We're going to keep we're zooming out a little bit to the 2 hour. There's my flag. I was literally midnight looking at it like price is going to shoot up because I just saw this whole thing cooking. And I was like, oh, you look like a flag. Oh, yes, you do. And there it went. And again, so I have this, what we like to call big ass, not bid ask. Okay, you know, we have that bid ask. We're talking about spreads. We're going for the big ass candle. That's over here. Okay, it's just
bacon. It's called bacon now. I call them bacon. Big ass candle on the chart. Bacon. We're gonna make some bacon with this. I'm sorry.
You know, we're gonna take the bacon. That's fine. So and usually a big candle like this needs to be retraced. As you can see, the fair value cap indicator is there because there's this wick that Luke pointed out how to draw these. So you're identifying the bottom of this wick here and the top of this candle wick there. And come on, lines. There's the fair value gap. There it means there's liquidity within this gap, and price is definitely coming for it. Price pretty much came all the way through it and started to retrace back down. If I zoom in, I'm sure I'll find like an order block or something within this long candle that made price reject. So let's go to the 15-minute and see how it looks. So if we go to the 15-minute, we can see that this long candle is a little choppy in here, and price pretty much, if I bet on it, it rejected right there. Go back. Yep, Rooney, right on the money. As you learn your candlestick patterns, you'll be able to see exactly where price is probably going to get rejected from. So you could have wrote it up. You could have put an order here for the move this morning for price to come up, and you know, you could have like just ran this all the way up, took your profit right before it retraced back down based on this candle. So I always go into my smaller time frames and find other smaller areas of consolidation. So the consolidation or indecision candle that I pinned out is this one right here, and I mark it with the top of this candle wick here, which aligns with the bottom there. And that's where price got rejected from, because it wants to come further up into this stronger zone, but it's going to get tested first. So that's just like recapping yesterday. I hope that kind of gave you guys like, you know, something that you can add to your trading plans, or you're trying to get confident and trying to understand how to make money in this choppy market, because it is choppy. There is no just, you know, riding stuff. It's hard to be a swing trader right now. To me, it's hard to hold for like more than 3 days. because price just starts to take off in another direction. So, I love the 2 hour because the 2 hour allows me to see these larger candle plays, allows me to see flags that are formed, and then I come down to my smaller time frame from there and find my entry and exit points based on those smaller candle formations that are within there. So we'll do a brief go over other tickers since it's coming to 11:30, my normal time that I usually get off call. And I think we just went into a lot more than what I hope you guys liked it. What you guys got so far out of that, because I wasn't expecting it for today, but that was a great preview from Luke. It was also great that he I love his screensaver. Like that's new. I ain't never seen that before, but that's a good one. So let's look at a few other tickers here to get you guys ready for next week based on how things close this week. So Apple,
Brandon, real quick. You record these meetings. Do you post them somewhere else that we can look at them again, or
I
they're
can post
mainly
this one for sure. I can get in the habit because I'm working with a video editor right now to kind of help me fine tune some of my videos. And I'm not recording our daily study group. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I do record the free ones, and we're just in the process of editing these videos. And I can post Wednesday's futures and today's, because today was a lot of gems dropped, just a lot of gems.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I want to go back and look because he said something about there being three swing highs meant something. I'm like, did I miss that part in my notes? But okay, I want to look back at it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was, and when he said it, I knew exactly what he was talking, even though I didn't look at it like that because I'm not as aggressive as following ICT as you and Maria and him, but I knew exactly what point in the market he was talking about when he said it because I was like, that's when price was breaking, and and I was ready for it. And at that point, I think I kind of said I had played like a call or so to kind of make back some money on the micros, but then after that, I was just kind of done. So it was a very interesting day yesterday. So Apple. So I'm leaving my Fibonacci that I drew from the daily just to kind of give you an example, just so y'all can see how price does move. I would, when you draw a Fibonacci, you're always looking swing high to swing low, and you're always following the trend. So your little dotted line should be in line with the trend. The trend is our friend, right? That's Trader 101. So I probably would redraw this and maybe bring it up by the gap from here so I can see this smaller play. It looks like Apple wants to take this gap fill. I can move this. Y'all can completely see the gap fill. I also paid attention to way back here, the bacon candle. So we can minimize our cursing, but it's flavorful in the daily group. So the bacon candle over here, I think it's going for it. We have a lot of liquidity in there. So I still feel very bullish on Apple. I was calling that even last week, even though it did a retracement, which is what it's supposed to do because we had a lot of upward momentum. Let's kind of zoom in a little close here. We had quite a bit of upward momentum, and I knew we had to retrace a little bit of that, at least 50% of another bacon candle before we come back up. And so with this strong candle up, I think we're definitely coming for this small gap and maybe then some. And then my line that I drew that is with, where did I get this line from? I'm marking the bottom of this candle. But sometimes I go into smaller time frames to get it. And then we have this gap up here as well. So it aligns pretty much within, the Fibonacci lines as well, depending on how you draw them. So I think that's exactly where price is probably going to end up, 169 for Apple. So you can prepare for a bullish play. Apple is another chart, got a catwalk W on it. If you don't see it, I'll point it out for you here. I know y'all starting to see it now. W, double bottoms are strong indicators that the market's going up. They usually, I would say they follow the rules more than they fail, but they can fail, just depending on just check the news, check what's going on in the market, check what Federal Papa Powell, Maria, we call him Papa Powell now in the crib. So when we say Papa Powell, we're talking about Federal Chair Member Jerome Powell. And what Papa Powell says It's
All
what the
right,
market does.
Papa Powell, the words come out of his mouth and the market jumps.
So that's what so yeah, so use those other confluences to know, like, is this W gonna, stand or fail, or what is it gonna do? All right, so Amazon, we'll kind of move through these tickers. And if y'all have any other tickers that y'all are dying for me to go over based on the knowledge that you got today, and want to kind of apply that to a ticker that you love, drop it in the chat and I'll make sure we get to it before we get off the call. But right now I'm gonna focus on my overall watch list, and then I'll target you guys. So Amazon's doing a similar move. The Catty-Wop W is here, right? It consolidated. It did a retracement, and now it looks like it wants this. I'm waiting for the gap fill up on Amazon to play. Because the market is pretty choppy right now, the gaps are the only things I'm kind of swinging. I'll buy enough time for it to fill the gap. Even though I think Amazon may take this gap fairly quickly, I do think it will get projected at the top of this wick. This is a strong wick here. But abandoned babies, again, y'all gonna hear me say a lot of candlesticks. Y'all like, what is an abandoned baby? It is not an actual abandoned child. I would never do that. I'm a mother. So even though these kids sometimes make you be like, you know what? But abandoned babies are candlestick patterns on the chart where the candle is just kind of left up here by itself. And that's exactly what it is. This is usually abandoned babies. The terminology I like to say is they like to get eaten. So price will come up and eat this abandoned baby eventually at some point. So because it's a gap with the abandoned baby and then more gapness on the other side, when you come back here, I do think it may be a choppy road into swallowing up this baby, but I do expect that move to happen. So I'm bullish on Amazon. All right, I'm gonna skip over the indexes, the Dow and the NASDAQ right quick, and just go over a few other favorites based on what your answers were today on tickers that you like to watch. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is moving up quite nicely. So I know it can be in a run, but if anybody was swing trading NVIDIA, oh my God, it was just doing lovely for some time going up. So it's finally at the top peak of its area of resistance, and it does look like it's getting a little choppy now that it's met its match. So we had a slight retracement pull. I thought we would have a deeper retracement because of this big candle, but sometimes price doesn't like to go down. If you do recognize there is a very ugly looking W right here. So price shot up afterward. It barely consolidated. It just shot up. I think it had a gap that it was trying to fill. So that's part of the reason why. Was this earnings? No, it hadn't. And I know there was some news around it as well. So earnings caused this first gap. I made a W, with a small little W, kind of chopped, and then took out its next gap. And then we've been kind of doing this wonky move. I've been trying to figure out how to trade it, and it wasn't really successful these past 2 weeks because of, y'all look at it, it's not very clear. So, but I do think it's still on a very upward trend. I'm waiting for it to break its top peak. There is a slight, I guess I can't really call it an abandoned baby, but it's definitely a pen. And pens are very strong in the market on the charts when you see them, especially one sticking up here like this, like it's the cross of Jesus at the top of the mountain. So I do expect some like shot down resistance once it finally hits 286. And then we'll see if price can break through to continue up to its upside. NVIDIA is almost at its most recent all-time highs. So, if you were looking to buy NVIDIA, maybe a good time now because up to $300, and then sell depending on if you're more of a stock trader than an options trader. It may be a good time to get in on some of it before it's too late. But we'll see just what type of candlesticks it forms to be able to better gauge what type of retracement down it's going to do. AMD follows NVIDIA a bit, but not really. It's been making me mad very much so because they both have these long candles, and I thought they would both come down further. NVIDIA said no, and AMD said yes. But AMD took a while before it said yes. So it did its retracement. pretty far down in this candle. This was the move I was looking for. And now that it's done that and it's created some gaps, I definitely expect it to come back up now. It has some other pins up here in liquidity that it wants to take out. So it's also looking like this particular pattern is looking very more like a bullish flag, not really a pennant, but like a flag. So flags will, the way the flags work is that you'll have an upward trend and then your price will retrace in a downward slope a bit, no more than about like 40%. And then it'll come, and then we're looking for a breaker candle to come up if this flag holds, right? So it may want to take out this previous high now, pretty much match this one. So maybe want to come back for it, and then we have even more upward momentum behind it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not looking to get into any positions on it just yet. I'll wait for the break. Adobe, another fan favorite. So Adobe has a nice W, a nice textbook, not cattywamped at all. It's pretty good, solid double bottom. It does have some gaps within its legs, but it is truly there. So it is doing its consolidation like it does when it gets to its previous area of resistance. And it has an abandoned baby that I think needs to be engulfed. So I have an alert set for whenever we get a breakaway to come up here, I will play Adobe bullish to go up to like 402. It'll probably take this whole one out because this has very little body. At around the 402 mark is what I'm looking at for Adobe. And then if we come back to look at a little more of the past data, we have a nice little mountain peak here with a few gaps in it. So we'll see how it tests up back into this area of resistance as well, right? So right now I don't see a very good play of a retracement play. If you were the type to make a retracement play before it comes back up, this is pretty choppy. I just expect it to continue to kind of bounce and then eventually take this abandoned baby to the upside. And then it's a W. So Google, I did get into Google because Google's doing this. And Google's doing exactly what I want another W to do. As you guys, I told you guys that you will see a lot of W's on the chart. So here's which means like the market is kind of going together as far as giving the signals that price may want to come up. So the W formed, price went up from there. Y'all see it. I ain't gotta make this perfect. And then it came up to this area of resistance. It consolidated. It did a cradle / J hook pattern within its consolidation, which gives me even stronger conviction that price wants to go up. Plus, there's a gap over here. So for those of you who love gap plays, that was my other conviction. J hook and a gap, you want that gap. So I am playing the gap right now. Bought a little bit of time for it to fill this gap on Google. So I am, if you think you missed it, you may not have emphasis on the May. So depending on how Monday opens, if it does a retracement down, you can get in on the retracement move to still catch this gap. So not all is lost, okay? If you want the gap play on Google. Okay, I'm trying to look at what y'all saying. Just make sure I didn't miss any tickers. No, this is like I don't like Adobe right now. We all don't like Adobe right now. The trade desk is not really doing much of anything. This is the dollar that Luke was alluding to. So I gotta I think he did like a comparison layover to get it down here. I may have to use that take that from him because I monitor MACD, so I keep the MACD down at the bottom of my chart. Usually I usually have a momentum, not ATR, but the last week I've changed it to ATR because I wasn't sure. Just been going over a lot of teaching. And so I usually have momentum down here. But I like the MACD to just overall confirm the trend of the market. So I usually keep it down there, and I have something else. Okay. So yeah. So the dollar, when the dollar is going down, the market, meaning the SPX, are usually going up, and the inverse. So yesterday it dropped, well, it was dropping, it was coming back up. It's just been in Maria, what does it mean when it's doing like a convergence move? Like if it's going similarly, like market's going up and
Oh, if it's going similarly, then it's kind of like a caution, watch out. ICT talks about like if the things that are supposed to move in relationship normally to each other, like the way they're supposed to move, if things stop moving the way they should be, then he generally doesn't trade because it's a recipe for bad things to happen.
And you can chart this just like any other chart. Thank you, Maria. And identify support and resistance to kind of get a gauge and understanding of how the dollar is going to react. So you can implement the dollar, DXY is the ticker, into your trading plan as well to gauge. I glance at it, but I really stick to my candlestick patterns, my fair value gaps, and my Fibonacci to let me know where price is going. All right, Target is another one that Alyssa put me on a Target, and it's actually not a pretty bad mover. I also give too much of my money to Target as a shopper, so I should trade it just like Apple. Any company I give too much of my money to, I think you should also trade it. So, that's just my little 2 cents. So I'll probably redraw this Fibonacci. I took it from the gap on up here, looking for plays. You see price came straight through all 3 of my center lines, the 61%, the 50, and the 32. And that would have been a very nice move. So overall, it does have a W here. I'm going to take off Fibonacci right now because it's not really serving a good purpose on this particular chart. And the W is here, right? Came right up to its previous area of resistance, showing some consolidation. I don't know what this was about. Honestly, I don't. It just kind of, it just kind of did a thing. And it took out this whole candle. Like that doesn't always happen. As you can see from the other charts, it doesn't always come this far down. I think a few of us were hoping that it did that on SPX, but again, you don't trade with hopium. You trade with faith, not hopium. Hopium will leave you holding on to trades way too long. Or getting out way too fast sometimes. It can be both sides. So now that I'm looking at it, because I haven't looked at Target in a minute. So let me see. This fair value gap indicator on TradingView, if you guys, I would recommend using TradingView. They have lots of fun indicators, probably too many. But the fair value gap indicator is accurate, meaning that it's exactly the way ICT would draw them. So you can just kind of put it on there and not worry about it. And even if you go down to smaller time frames, they're going to show up. Some are missing, so you do have to note that, but the ones that are there are accurate. So you can go to a smaller time frame, you can see how they line up. They line up within gaps as well. They show you, order blocks, areas of consolidation. It's great indicator. I like it. I don't think Thinkorswim has a reliable equivalent. If you're trying to Thinkorswim, I do not use TradeStation and I do not use E-Trade, but there are crib members that do. So they can definitely, Alyssa's an E-Trade person, just shouting her out there. So if you contact Alyssa if you're an E-Trade person. If you're a TradeStation person, I guess I will refer back to Luke because Luke uses actually both. He uses Thinkorswim and TradeStation. So you can get with him and message him. You see how helpful he is, and have him help you out with any struggles you're having on TradeStation. Okay. So that's just there. But I chart on TradingView and I execute in Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim has too many chart buttons and it drives me nuts. It's just not as user friendly as this. I'm working on my affiliate link with TradingView for those who may want to switch over to TradingView. So LAZR is a company my father wanted to invest in. It's an energy company. It is going down at the moment. This is probably a company I would think you should buy and hold long term and wait for it to come up, as well as Bosch and Loam that we got from Miss Yesenia. She dropped that ticker to the crib family for us. It has a nice W, it has a nice candle retracement up the top side. But overall, she recommends from her research on this particular stock, and I don't know if she wants to chime in on any other information she wants to give on it, but buy and hold long term. She I would say is probably the pro long term hold trader, her and Kim, because they're sitting nice in their like little retirement funds, all from just buying and holding forever. Congratulations for having patience, ladies, because I ain't got it. But that is that there when there's a will, there's a way. So shout out to Yesenia for making it happen as a long-term trader. And this looks really, really promising. Bosch & Lomb makes contact lenses for that glasses geeks in the house. I'm a glasses geeks. Maria doesn't wear her glasses, but she's a glasses geek as well. Don't let her contacts fool you. And it may be one to invest in, So again, do you guys have any other tickers? Because I don't want to hold you guys on this Good Friday. I want you to spend time with family. I know my daughter came in here like, Mommy, can you come downstairs? I'm like, I'm almost done, Biscuit. But if you guys have any tickers that you, Kim's a geek. Yeah, Kim is an actual glasses geek too. Shop. Okay, I can go to shop. Go to shop. Shop usually has some nice gaps on it. So why isn't my keyboard? There we go. There we go. Okay. Shop. So shop had its gap. It filled it. I missed it. Oh well. That's really technically not done. It has this bit left to do. It looks like it's preparing to do it. So that it may just like run up here and take it out potentially, hopefully, but shop doesn't run too fast. It is a pretty slower mover. Kim, did you have a particular question on shop, or did you just want to look at it for the crib?
I just want to look at it. I'm waiting for it to fill the gap. I just bought 10 shares on it. It's slow.
It's super slow. So for the patient people in the house, I do think it is going to come up and finish this gap. It only did half of this fair value gap. It needs to finish the rest. And it'll most likely probably come up to the very end of this candle here. So, shop is another one you can put on your radar. And now would be the time to get in, because the fact that it kind of came right back to the beginning of its gap, you would get in now, and then you can ride it all the way up, right? And that would be a nice little chunk of change. You want to play options on it. The options contracts aren't too bad either. Just buy enough time because it moves slow, y'all, slow. Like at least probably 1 to 2 months. I'm on like more of a one person because I don't usually hold things very long. But I do recommend for shop, just because of how slow it moves, possibly 2 months. So therefore, by the time it takes a month to make its move, beta hasn't eaten away at the value of your contract and you'll still be profitable. Roku and then Lulu. Alyssa, what you want to do with Lulu? Trying to do with Lulu. So Roku has been going sideways for a while, so I've been leaving it alone. Haven't cared to. Kim, are you long in Roku? You have some shares on Roku, waiting for it to come up. It has a lot of upward retracement to.
No, I was gonna get in it, but the reward to risk, I'm trying to do only 3s now, so I wouldn't have done shop if I had really thought about it. But no, I didn't get in it.
Okay.
I should have, instead of getting in that dang on SPY put.
With the amount of retreat, with the amount of upward movement that the SPY and SPX were giving us, a lot of us were hoping that it would come down and retrace further than what it did. We can go back over that, and I can let the ladies let out their frustration because they all closed out with losses.
I didn't close out all of them. I still got a couple left, girl. No, I ain't closed on all of them. It's
Well,
gonna
I
come
know
back.
Maria did. Most of us got out of our positions because of the holiday.
Yes, Spy is a trifling troll.
Yeah, May
Trifling
19th.
troll.
I have a contract to May 19th and one to April the 14th. And you know I'm a ride or die.
For Spy? Okay, it's a point, Kim?
Yep, I'm gonna ride it until I can't ride it no more.
Spy is a trifling troll.
It is. It makes me sick, but oh well.
So Roku is just sideways, and I don't know what else to do with it until we get a true breaker out of the zone. Let's look at Lulu, and then we'll go to Spy, and I'll let the ladies hash at it, and that will be the hash out close to the call today. So Lulu, this is why. So I forgot I had big gaps on it. So this is why Alyssa pointed it out, because she loves gap trades. So Lulu gapped to fill its gap, which I was not expecting it to do. And then I'm not too convinced of how far down it wants to go. I can't even really pull a confident Fibonacci on this sucker because this gap is way too big. Like, look at, like, it would have to come for the whole thing, and I don't even know. I don't know. Like, I don't know what will do that. Maybe earnings. When is earnings? Earnings is June 1st. So maybe then it'll fit, because the earnings made it gap. So earnings might make it fall. I don't know. Alyssa, do you have anything you want to add on Lulu? Have you done any fundamentals on Lulu? Because I think Lulu is one that you need to add some fundamentals to get this right. She says, sounds like a good Jamaica gap. Y'all look. It's a hefty gap. I maybe, you know what, I'm gonna put it on my notes. I'm gonna do some fundamentals on Lulu and come back with some information on the next chart party for Lulu, to see if we can, like Alyssa, she's at her doctor's appointment. Well, like Alyssa says, a Jamaica gap, a vacation gap, right? That's that gap that makes like good money, right? So, but I think we need more fundamentals, and I don't really follow it as closely to know what the company's been doing to really get a better gauge on how it's gonna fill this gap. So stand by on Lulu, if y'all want the gap. All right, come on, Spy. Come on, Spy. So as you can see, we charted heavily, got Fibonacci on here, got some lines, got some order blocks drawn. I got everything on here. The Spy, so the problem with Spy.
Start with where it charted at from. I'm gonna just do a back test from Monday. I don't know. I was just so mad at myself. I started to go, when it was at 406, I started to buy a call, but it cost too much. So I was like, no, I'll just do the put because it'll be between here and the other one, and it won't. And I bought two. I bought two at like 407, and then I bought two at like 4. I was so mad. 409. I was like, I can't believe I did this to myself. And I never do zero TE. Y'all rubbing off on me. But
well, now I don't do a zero DTE on Spy, only on the SPX.
Oh.
So you missed that memo, Cam. Only on the SPX, do zero DTE, never on Spy.
And only on the SPX when SPX is freight training. Only when it's freight training, but don't, SPX, you got to be careful as well. So SPX has to be moving like a freight train to do a zero DTE.
Well, it did move like a freight train. It just kept moving up.
Right, but hopefully in your direction. Freight train in your direction. Zero DTE.
I should have got out, but I didn't. I was going to.
So, okay. So the problem with the SPX and the Spy, the charts look very similar, as you guys know. So just looking at the Spy, the problem with the Spy is that we didn't want to believe that this was a W forming one. We looked at this particular, that is a trend line, Randy, not a horizontal. We were looking at this area of resistance here, this zone, based on this evening star pattern. And we were like, well, it's going to get rejected. First, it gapped up. So the problem number one was this wick. Okay. Let me tell you where we made our mistakes, because learning from your mistakes is key. All right. So we looked at this candle, and this was when Papa Powell came in and said what he said about the news. This was a news day. Good old red folder. And on the Forex Factory. And so when price gapped up into this wick, we were like, you're going to retrace this gap, right? Because there's a heavy resistant wick here. Price was like, nah, F y'all. I ain't retracing this gap. I'm barely retracing this gap. So we were like, damn. All right. So we got in puts thinking that we could ride this gap down. And price was like, no. So then we came the next day, and I think Maria did I'm a double down, because it's because she likes to do that, right? I'm a double down on a put. So yeah, we bought this put. I'm gonna buy another put, because we're further into the zone, into the sell zone, and price just got to come down for these gaps, because price gapped up again the next day. So it was like, we got to retrace this gap, and we were holding on to, you got to retrace this gap. You got to retrace this gap. Price said, nah, F y'all. So then we were really bleeding. And I had got out of my puts once I saw this. I was like, oh no, we're done. I'm done. It came and it took out this liquidity, and it took out the gap. And once I got conviction that it was sick, because it started to freight train, that it was coming for this liquidity, I was like, it looks like it has enough steam to take out the gap. And that's exactly what it did. So I changed positions. Maria said, I'm a double down. It's really in the zone. And I'm gonna come for this put, and it is going to drop. So then we finally got some retracement. Finally, right? Like, this candle came in and it added even more sprinkles on top of the hopium that we had already built up on our ice cream sundae, right? Of hopium. So it was looking real nice. So it was like, yeah, you want to come down and you want to at least take out like this pin candle here and this gap. Price said, psych. And then by yesterday, it came all the way. It just gave us a nice green candle. Like, it started to come down. It started to teased at our hopium even more. And then it was like, nah, y'all, it's a W. Y'all need to respect the W. We're going up. And that's the story I'm telling of the candles.
And this is why I'm bullish. This is why I stay bullish, because I'm saying, even when the market retraces, it don't do it for too long. It wants to go up.
Correct. We drew fibs. Drawing the fib was a little interesting because of all the gaps and the swing low pins. It was tough. It was tough when the W that's forming is gapping. It makes it's just tricky, and that's all you can say. But you just have to stick to risk tolerance rules, because I even came here. I was like, okay, I'll probably do this move, right? I took this candle. I was trying for the group. I was like, okay, we can at least get to the 50. Price didn't want to do that. I moved this up, right? I was like, okay, well, now it's technically at its 50 if we look at it this way. And I already did this move. I don't know if it wants to come back to the 78. It can, but not always, because more than 50% of this long candle has already been retraced. So that is if 50% of this candle has already been retraced, you just trade with caution. And I would recommend just let it go, because that's about the max retracement that you get on a long candle, period. It's 50%. And I can prove it to you by going back in time on like every scenario. It can give more sometimes, but not always. So again, this long candle, price came down, price came up, 50% retracement, boom, right there. Eventually it continued, but I'm just saying, the first move, this is going on an uptrend. The market likes to go up naturally. So you have a little bit more conviction there, but let's say on a downward pull, right? So especially on the bear side of things, going down, if 50%, cut it. We had to play the cut it song. Your price is way too high. You need to cut it. You just need to cut it. Okay.
That's why I cut it. I cut it when I got to my dad's appointment. So yeah.
So
we're gonna get it back. We're gonna get it back.
Right, we are gonna get it back. So again, this is another time where price, was coming up. We did a nice morning star pattern, right? And because we had some momentum, price needs to retrace. But again, if you eyeball this, about 50% of the candle, it did retrace down, but 50% is that wick, and that's it. This one didn't even care to try to do that. I wouldn't count this candle as a big one because it has a pretty long wick to it. But you guys can go back in the chart. Back testing is definitely recommended, and see, even for this, the way this order block came, because I was like, how are you going to take this? There's a gap, there's these pins, but I remember this whole thing, and it came, it tapped it with this wick a little bit more than 50%, right? But just bet on the 50%. Right? 50% of the candle. Cut it. Cut it. All right. Like if you on the bear side, for sure, because naturally the market wants to go up eventually. Even when we're in a recession, downward trend, yeah, all that happens, blah, 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 blah. Things can break to the downside, but you have to rely on the news, what the country and what the world is doing, the war and all these other things, to have conviction that price is going to break on the downside, because price naturally does not want to break on the downside. It wants to break on the upside. So just keep that in mind, y'all. That's all I would say is my little 2 cents, because you can go back for years and find no more than 50%. And especially on a large candle, and you're done. And even when it first comes up and retests a long candle on the upside, like this one, 50%, look, 50%, cut it. Okay, like as your first target, cut it at 50%, because we want to get in the habit of taking the small guarantee moves, not trying to go too much on a trade, because that's when we lose our money, when we're trying to get too much money on a trade. And usually your 50% will also line up, like you see here, the candles before that dip down, it's like right in line with that. So if you don't know where it is, go ahead and mark like the wick. You can mark the wick of the candles before. Sometimes it'll come up to the right to this candle before, but this is a tweezer top. So these tweezer tops can be strong depending on what's going on with the market. But this was when we hit that really big downtrend. So, but again, cut it. Like it aligns right up. And this is just using candles. This is no Fibonacci. This is nothing. This is just understanding just the candles themselves and how they work. You don't actually have to use anything else but the candles. You really don't. So again, when there's gaps involved and there's pins, it becomes a little messier. That's when you have to kind of use other indicators and combine forces, right? Get your just combine for it, because I had a joke, but it left me. So combine it and then go from there. So now that we've this is, I would say there's a lot of candles up in here too. So this zone should be broken soon. It's an order block as well. We got a pin and a pin. So price came up, formed a pin, price then chopped, formed another pin, and came down. This is your order block. All right. And I love order blocks. You can look them up. They're in line with ICT, but they're their own strategy as well outside of ICT. Just saying. Order block to order block. They're like little magnets on the chart. Okay. Price came for its order block. Straight up. And I wouldn't be surprised if price breaks the order block, because the market will like to recover, even though there is some speculation that we may zoom out to the larger time frame here, that we may still have more bottom to come, a more downward pull to come potentially. We'll see how this area of sideways movement ends. It has to break out to either side. It's either going to come back down and fully retrace even more the COVID lows, right, which are down here, or we're going to come back up. So
along the lines of what Randy is saying, where that speculation of that there's the downward side is that we're finding that the economic news that we're getting is not always telling us the truth. As a matter of fact, I just was watching someone that not today's job report, but that previous one, they gave the number. They didn't give the right number. The Fed gave a different number. They made it look favorable, and the real number is not favorable. So you're probably going to find out within I guess they go like go out so far, then they'll correct it. But they literally gave the wrong number, and we're wondering if they're doing it on purpose. So the number was worse than what they reported. Just as an FYI. So you may want to, like I said, kind of look at some of those YouTubers who do those analysis to tell you, they were like, I don't know why this Fed gave you all that number, because that's not the right number. So that's why we're thinking there's going to be another leg down, but I think that's probably why the Fed didn't give the true number, because they don't want the leg down just yet, because it's going to happen at some point. So they're lying to us about banks failing, and they're also lying to us about these jobs numbers as well. So, and when they correct that, that's where that leg down is probably going to happen. So, but just as an FYI. So as Randy said, we got to trade kind of like the day-to-day type of a thing and trade with caution.
Go ahead, Maria.
Well, I was gonna say which numbers got lied on? The employment or the jobless claims, or
whatever the previous employment, not this one, not today's, but the previous one, the previous job numbers. Maybe it was unemployment. Maybe it was the unemployment number. Yeah, maybe the unemployment number.
Earlier this week.
Right. They lied about it. Apparently they didn't give the right number.
Wow.
So it's y'all know y'all can't trust this country and their government. You can't trust politicians, period. And their money, they're protecting their money. It's their money as far as they're concerned, right? We have yet to see anybody that look different on their dollar bills. So we'll just keep it at that. But one thing I can also say is, when you see, especially on the larger time frame like this, when you see sideways movement for a while, a big move is coming. Especially if it's on the daily, if it's on the weekly, anything daily and up, I would say, right? Because when you have big chop, like if you come back here, because this is like a big, huge W. But this area, y'all just kind of look at this zone right here, where it chopped for a while. Like this was almost 2, 3. This was from December. This was from December 16th, and we finally got the breakaway candle January 6th. So a whole month of chop. When it chops like that for a long period of time, a big move is usually coming. Okay, so same rule applies. Rectangle. Come on the weekly, it's been sideways for a while. So a big move is coming. Winter is coming. Where are my Game of Thrones people at? So yeah, that's how I feel. And I see this nice double bottom here on the weekly as well. I see that it may come up because there's a gap that's formed on the weekly. It's a weekly gap. So we may want to come and finish that out, which is why this may continue up here. And then we'll go from there. We also have the debt ceiling issue to what I'm trying to say, acknowledge, or whatever they're going to do with it. We have that over this summer, because they're going to wait till the last minute. They're going to wait till June to figure out if they're going to raise the debt ceiling. So with all of that coming up this year, we could potentially see this sideways. One thing I do know, ladies, we learn how to trade this market. We're going to be millionaires after this market. Okay, just remember that. Just remember that. You learning how to trade in a recession, in a choppy market, and people don't know what's going on, and we got war and gas and all this stuff, and housing. Best believe our strategies are going to be perfect when this resolves, and nothing's going to stop us. We're going to be making bank.
And then we're going to go on vacation to Bali or somewhere together.
I love it. So just give yourself grace that a lot of us, this is why I think a lot of us jump on the ICT wagon, because he has experience in a recession, right? And he's been trading for 20 plus years. So going through a recession, learning how to trade through a recession gives you, I think, the maximum amount of skills that you need to be like a lifelong trader. And so just remember that, ladies, don't discourage, stay at it and do what you do. So it is lunchtime. I love the dedication of this group, how most of you stayed in here. I love it. Appreciate the love and support. If you want to join the daily study group, it is only $89.97 for the year. It's a drop in a hat. Not even ask for $100 to chill with us all year long, every morning, every event, because I'm here every day. This is now my day job. Because I love trading. I love coming here in the morning and waking up, getting my money, and hopefully getting out. Sometimes the way the market moves, I'm making my money in the afternoon. But either way, we're calling out the plays. We're figuring out what the market's doing overall with the news, looking at Forex Factory, looking at what Elon Musk is doing. Oh, I didn't go over Tesla. Hold up before I leave y'all. But y'all can definitely, join and kick it with us and step up your trading game, get some of this love and support and our craziness. Because we are some interesting group of ladies, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. You guys have got me. I'm at the Tampa airport. Like, look at y'all got me all the way just to my home. I'm just one county over. So
look at you, the whole drive.
I got picked y'all guys up just before I got to my halfway point, and now I'm in Tampa. So just have to go across the bridge now. So I appreciate y'all.
No problem, Tandra. I'm glad that you were able to, have some interesting news and listen while you had to drive. Driving by yourself or just driving in general can be kind of lonely without some music. So why not tune into the Traders Crib? Why not? Why not? So Tesla, right quick, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Tesla does look like it's making a nice M pattern. The reason why I don't trust Tesla because of Elon Musk, and that's what I wanted to point it out. Because I was like, Elon Musk is another one that come up and do some shenanigans. You got to keep your eye on what he's doing too. Elon Musk, DeSantis, Trump, and Papa Powell. Market moving people.
They're the wackadoodle indicators. The wackadoodle indicators.
Definitely, yes.
Oh my God. So that's why I got to bring it back to Tesla, because Elon Musk is a trip. We have some gaps in the downside. I'm not really sure where Tesla wants to go. I'm really not. It's hard for me to draw a fib, a good swing. My initial swing high to swing low will be from here to here, but that's a lot of days. And I recommend keeping your Fibonacci tight, meaning like no more than the week or shorter. As far as identifying a swing low and a swing high, so you can get some really nice day trade plays in there. So with that, I see this big M. Let me go to the weekly and see what it's doing. It does look like it may want to come down and retrace most of this candle. I ain't gonna lie, from the weekly. It does have a little bit of movement to the up. We have equal highs here though. So what Luke pointed out, pay attention to that, because it may only what you want is the break of this M. If the M doesn't break, don't buy a put. I'm telling y'all that from experience. Don't buy it. You want to wait for the break. I highly recommend it, because price will come right down to this point and bounce all the way up and potentially take off if it wants to, or chop or anything like that. That's just my recommendation. So if you see the double top forming, which is the M versus the W, you see the double top, you want to wait for the break. Just kind of like for your double bottoms, honestly. If you really want to get a good trade going up, you can wait for the W to form, wait for it to break the W, and then ride it up from there. That is a strategy. So, but my recommendation for anything downward, wait for the break for sure. That's what I would do here for Tesla. You could ride it down to this line. That is an option. I ain't gonna lie. You can literally, there's an order block sitting right here. So it'll probably maybe take more of it, because there is a little peak. May, emphasis on the may. Trade at your own risk. I am not responsible for any of your trades. Disclaimer. So don't come suing me Randy told me, no, I can't make you click the button. But I can see it move. I can see it taking out this order block and coming down into this candle a bit and then coming back up. So there may be a few dollars to catch within that move. And we can go over it on Monday more to see exactly how this is very ugly looking. I ain't gonna lie. The more I'm zooming in, the more I don't like it. I just don't. I see the little gap. So it may come down and do this gap, like take the order block, tap into the gap. And the reason why I say tap into the gap, because there's these wicks within the gap, and these wicks will push price right back up. So if I were to do like a dotted line, and it also aligns with the fair value gap. I don't know if y'all can see the fair value gap indicators kind of highlighting over. But if I do a dotted line there, so 175 will probably be my take profit because it'll probably come down. It may even chop up when it hits 177. So I'll go for the short-term goal first. It's definitely probably going to come back for this wick that it made. And about the end of the 50% of this wick is about 50% of this candle. Don't ignore the fair value gap here. You may get a bounce and then it'll come back down. And then if it has the market momentum behind it, it will come into this gap. If it has the market momentum behind it, along with Elon Musk, I guess I'm saying. So it'll come down and do it. So that is that's like the only, I'm bullish on everything else except for this slight bearish play on Tesla. All right. So you ladies have a great one. Have a great Easter. I hope to see you all next week for some future trading, some free Friday.
Randy,
Yeah.
I'm on your I was on the Mighty Networks. I don't see where I
Where
can
to upgrade. I gotta figure out, do you guys see, let me ask you a question, Yesenia. Do you see the circles tab on the side, or is it just completely invisible?
the circles tab
Yes.
with your logo.
So no, underneath general. So on the tab, you have feed. On the left-hand side, you have feed, discovery, members, and events.
I
And
see
then you
those.
have general. And under general, you have the Traders Crib and the mini course webinars, which are where you find all my slides to my, so if you missed the course, you can get the slides to it and go over the candlesticks. I think I'm gonna update some of those. And underneath that is circles. Do you see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you click the live, pull that down, and there should be the live day trading study group circle.
Okay, I pulled it down and it says explore.
Says
Live day trade. Okay.
And then it should route you
I
there to
see it.
pay,
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
that's the only part that's paid is that circle. And
Okay.
that's the live day trading study group. And that's where like the daily events will be found. Now, all I have in there is the daily events, because I try to keep, when it comes to information just to me on stock market should just be free. It's information.
Gotcha.
But hosting my day trading group every day, because I'm here every day and providing that service, that's the only thing that you're really paying for, is to just be a part of us every day.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
No problem. So that's where you guys find it. It's under Circles. Circles is the premium. It's a premium circle to join, and you'll have access to all of the events. $89.97 for the year. I hope to see you guys there. But other than that, if y'all don't have any other questions, enjoy your Good Friday. Enjoy time with the babies and the families, the Easter egg hunts. We're doing it all. I'll post videos and y'all can follow. A lot of us have Instagram as well, so you can follow us personally if you want. You know, I'm Randy M. Alexander on Instagram. Follow me, my little one, doing a thing as a mom entrepreneur for all the other mom entrepreneurs in the crib, woo, woo, or wife entrepreneurs like Maria. Can't leave the the women out that don't have kids.
That's right.
So
The ones
we're
who
doing
don't
the
want to go
thing.
back to a job, the ones who are on the bandwagon of I don't like my job, so I need to make this one into my full-time job. Yes, that bandwagon.
So y'all have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.